Where in the Folk is not and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Where in the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone actually.
Welcome to another episode of Where in the Folk. I hope everybody's had a great weekend.
Good. Was that incoming like weird for you guys at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It was weird for me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do.
Okay. I feel like we just got hit in the face with the intro right there.
That's like a get it out of the way early.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that one out. But
Yep.
we're live. And,
Yes.
just so you know, the comments, when we make outgoing comments, will only go to YouTube. The same way it was on StreamYard.
Yep,
Hey, Landa, I am actually a real live person. I'm not a bot.
hey, Mike. Hey,
There's been a lot of talk recently where we bring up AI all the time. They're like, "Is Morgana real?" And we're like,
Yeah.
"Sure."
One day we will show you.
She's artificial intelligence.
That's right. My intelligence is very artificial.
Like,
Thank goodness for Google.
I like to act like I know Spanish and I just Google Translate.
Well, there used to be this commercial on our local radio station, and it would go, SOCKS, can you spell socks? Then you can speak Spanish. And my daughter's like, Mom, that literally translates to, and it's just utter gibberish.
That makes sense.
Yep.
All right.
So,
Well, Cecil, do you want to do this week's blast from the past?
Absolutely. It's a little thing we like to call it. Project
You
Bluebird.
guys having a hard time hearing me?
I hear
You're a
you.
little faint.
Mike says I'm low.
Yeah, you're a little low.
Let me see.
But you know, I don't see your mic. And usually it seems like it's a little closer to you.
I think that you're just really soft spoken today.
I don't think so.
You got that soft heart. Did you change microphones?
No.
Oh, I can't see it because of your name thing.
Yes.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started on this. So this is the blast from the past.
Can
In the
you
early
hear that
19... Yeah.
Is it too loud?
No, it barely came up any.
Okay.
You might want to keep tinkering with it. But in the early 1950s, at the height of the Cold War, the CIA launched Project Bluebird, a clandestine operation shrouded in secrecy and ambition. The goal: to unlock the secrets of the human mind for interrogation and control. Scientists and spies delved into the shadows of human consciousness, used hypnosis, psychoactive drugs like LSD, and intense psychological pressure, voluntary and involuntary. So subjects included soldiers, prisoners, and became pawns in the game of mental warfare. So, as the experiments progressed, the boundaries between science and ethics kind of blurred. People were subject to mind-bending drugs. Been there, right? Let's see. Their memories were manipulated. Their willpower tested to the breaking point. Hypnosis sessions aimed to unlock hidden truths, while drugs sought to dissolve mental defense. You know, when I was younger doing those mind-altering substances, I never thought at the time, like, the government made this for mind control. Did you?
No.
No, but we were young, dude.
You're very faint now. Old Tully and his microphone problems.
What about now?
That's better. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's wide open. So
Yeah, that's probably the best you're going to get then. It sounds good. It sounds a lot better, I think. How does it sound out there in, to y'all when Tully says words?
hello.
You were supposed to say words.
Words.
So in the August of 1951, Project Bluebird morphed into Project Artichoke, which is a very popular one. Expanding its dark horizons, eventually this path led to the infamous MK projects, a name that would resonate with infamy. The vile secrecy was lifted in the 1970s, revealing the unsettling extent of these mind control experiments. Public outrage ensued, leading to congressional investigations and a wary eye on intelligence operations. Project Bluebird's legacy remains a haunting chapter in the annals of espionage. I read that just like our president.
So what I planned on doing, and we can either do this or not do it. I could care less. But so Bluebird was the very first disclosed mind control project in history. And if you guys want a series on mind control projects, obviously I did that for TikTok a while back. We can go through each project throughout the years up to current if the audience would be interested in something like that.
I'm down for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Bluebird leads into Project Artichoke. So we'll talk about that next week.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see.
I like artichokes.
Try talking now, Tolu. No, I just unmuted it. Try talking now.
Hello.
Is that any better?
Is it bad to you guys or just the audience?
Well, I think you're a little bit lower than normal, but I can hear you fine.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
I just went into your settings and your mic was turned about 50% down, so I turned it all the way up.
What about now?
I think that's good.
Maybe
bear with us while we work through technical difficulties as we explore new platforms, new and exciting things.
Yeah, we've been using different software every week, and this one's new too.
I'm just glad I'm not freezing up still. But
this is called Project Where in the Folk.
Let me take off this noise reduction thing and see if it's louder.
All right. I don't have mine on, so.
What about now?
Sure.
Mike Landa. Anyway,
so what else have we got cooking on tonight's recipes?
So I brought maybe the most badass story of the year for today's show. And
what is it?
Okay, so, and I don't know how we missed this because it didn't just happen. It did happen this year, but it was so epic that I thought we needed to bring it. So a South Carolina man was attacked by an alligator while collecting fossils in the Cooper River. And this story might be one of the most epic man versus animals. I'm getting feedback from somebody.
Yes. Yes.
Clarence.
Are you still getting feedback? I had mine literally muted on the thing here.
Whatever you just did, like cut out all the white noise too.
Sweet.
Okay, I muted mine too.
I don't hear any white noise right now.
Me either.
Okay.
Anyway. So whatever we're doing, let's leave it right now.
Yeah.
Because you're louder too.
So Cecil's the root of the problems tonight, is what you're saying. No, but so a West Ashley man is recovering after he was attacked by an alligator while collecting fossils in the river. His name is William Georgiadis, and he was diving for fossils in late April when he was suddenly attacked and dragged to the bottom of the waterway. He says, when I surfaced, I noticed a huge alligator was about 20 feet away from me, and as soon as he saw me, he launched himself into the water, and he was coming at me at torpedo speed, almost hydroplaning on the top of the water. He was determined to get there. He puts his arm up in self-defense, of this massive alligator coming toward him. And he says, I don't know how big he was because I was just right there in front of him. He felt massive. And I knew his first move once he grabbed me would be to roll. So he throws his arm up. Alligator attaches to his arm. He puts him in a headlock so he can't death roll him. And the alligator then dives to the bottom of the river. And the alligator dives so fast to the bottom of the river, it cracked his ears. Um, so it was probably like 20 feet or more to the bottom of the river. Um, he said that he also realized that he had just a little bit of air left in his scuba tank. So he's also like he knows he's short on air. He is thinking he's gonna die. He realizes that the screwdriver he's using to poke for fossils, like for teeth and stuff, is still on him. So he gets the screwdriver, stabs the alligator in the eye, and when he did that, the alligator starts shaking him like a rag doll. He threw him off of him, and then he grabbed the hold of the alligator again because he didn't want the alligator to roll again. And he said his arm this whole time is still like clamped down, and again it's like pitch black where he's at in the bottom of the river, and he said he couldn't make it up to his eyeball again, so he starts stabbing the alligator in the gum line and is stabbing him in between the teeth. And he was trying to figure out where the soft spots were, and he shook him again. And at that point, he estimates that he was probably 50 feet underwater, and his air runs out. He feels the last breath of the tank go.
Ooh.
So he's 50 feet underwater, stabbing an alligator to death with a screwdriver, out of air. And he knew at that moment that was the end of his life, but it wasn't. He wrenched back as hard as he could, trying to rip his own arm off at the elbow, and he gets out. He said, I don't know how. I just thought it tore my arm off. And when I got back to the surface, it was flopping and hanging there like a wet noodle. A guy in a boat dragged him because he couldn't pull himself. And he made it to the hospital in time for them to attach his arm. And he is not going to have it amputated.
Good for him. Good job, buddy. Good job.
So,
Yeah. Insane.
yeah, he has a GoFundMe, I believe. His name, I think, again, is William, spelled traditionally. Last name is Georgitis. So I think the GoFundMe is still out there if you want to make a donation toward his recovery. But I saw that story and I'm like, damn, like that guy deserves to live.
Yes, yes, he does. Wow.
That's a
You
really
know,
good one.
alligators, they're people think pit bulls hold on. Alligators are serious.
Yeah.
I mean, not many people walk away from that kind of attack.
I'm going to try to get, I know this is our first time sharing here.
Mhm.
Uh
I'm,
oh.
I'm going to share a picture and I want you guys to tell me whether you think this is a spoof or real life.
Let's see it.
Let me share entire screen. So the picture says COVID with wings, backyard chicken coops could bring down the farming industry, and that experts fear that bird flu could spread quickly through backyard chicken coops and bring down the country's entire farming industry, including eggs, chicken, beef, and dairy.
What do dairy and beef have to do with chickens and bird flu?
Well, apparently, I know we haven't talked about the bird flu thing a lot because it's still kind of early, but apparently a form of avian flu was transmitted from like bovine to human too.
Okay.
Um, I don't know how all that works, but that is actually a real article. I will. make you guys guess. Um, but that was this week, and as you can imagine, people are spoofing that to death um, because of the way that it's worded. COVID with wings.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's headline grabbing attention.
yeah, it's behind the Courier Journal's paywall, so I don't know um, anything about the Courier Journal, but if you
No,
want to
I've
go
never
read it,
heard of that.
that's where to go. Um,
Wow.
uh, what do you guys got?
I've got you one. I'm so underprepared this week, but I've got one.
It's
So,
been a cold start the last couple of weeks, just with technical stuff.
yeah, yeah, and it's just been
Yeah.
crazy this week, all the way around. So, and this happened in Mississippi. So, authorities made a grim discovery on Monday at an auto sales shop in Laurel, Mississippi. So, they found the body of a woman in the trunk of a car on a car lot. So, evidently, what happened is the woman had a car crash. She hit a pole. They said she walked away from the crash and had not been seen. I mean, and they send out, drones and everything else looking for this woman after they find her car. Find nothing. 3 days they do this. And then a couple of days after they stopped, somebody found the body. Okay, but the thing that gets me about this and just it blows my mind is there's no foul play suspected.
Yeah.
It,
What?
yeah, I'm sorry. You found a body in the trunk of a car, but there's no foul play.
I
I,
mean, where we're from, that kind of happens sometimes. There's a very well-known politician that has a lot of things like this happen around him as well.
mhm.
I think Tully even has a story that will lead right into like this kind of strangeness. There was a advisor named Mark Middleton who is known to have signed Jeffrey Epstein into the White House several times over the years. He was found no longer alive, and it was suggested that he had taken care of himself as well when his body was found in a car near a heifer ranch in Perryville, Arkansas. The grisliest thing came on top where Bill Clinton. Oh, I'm sorry, I just ruined it. But he was found hanging from a tree with gunshot wounds to his chest. It took 9 months to be released after he's dead, of course. But they found him in this tree with a shot and tied to a tree with an electrical cord around his neck and no sign of a weapon. So it kind of plays into that same story. Like, how do they see something like this happen and just rule it like a accident or suicide, things like that?
He was going to hang some lights up in a tree for a party, and he slipped, and it wrapped around his neck on the way down.
And a hunter thought he was
And
a deer from a mile
right,
away.
right. And see, and that's on this one. That was what they were saying. Was well, it was possible that she was inebriated or she had done something wrong and thought she was going to get arrested, so she hid in the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
Of course, she can't substantiate that one way or another, but they haven't even done an autopsy, and they're calling no foul play. I
That's
call
crazy.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I do too.
that's my contribution this week, guys.
Did you guys know it was snowing this week?
Where?
Okay, so it is Canada,
Huh?
but a very rare June snowfall hit Fort McMurray. I think that's in Alberta.
Mhm.
And they went from fires, like wildfires, to snowfall in a matter of days. And from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. earlier this week, it came like snow showers that flipped back over to rain. But someone was joking and said whoever was manning the weather machines that day really messed up.
That's
Speaking of
funny.
which, episode 100, Not tomorrow, but next Saturday, we are doing the entire history of weather modification. So
Oh yeah. Tonight's
Wow.
99.5. Yeah.
tonight's 99.5, next Friday's 99.9, and Saturday is episode 100.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
I've got one for Morgana,
What you got?
since I know you love Mac and Apple, as do I, mind you.
Hmm.
So here are some questionable updates coming to Apple's iOS 18.
Hmm.
And I'll let you guys decide. This is good for people with accessibility issues, but I feel like it could be bad for overall privacy infringement.
Hmm.
So it's going to introduce full eye tracking, which allows it's going to allow users to use their iPads, iPhones, computers with only their eyes. And like I said, that's cool for people with disabilities because I know they need that. But
Yeah.
this means the phone is using your front face camera to set up, collaborate, and analyze your eye movements with on device intelligence. Apple already admitted that this feature will collect data, but that they say they're not going to share it, which kind of tracks with people subpoena and information.
Hmm.
But does that mean that Apple might show you targeted ads based on your pupil dilation or your interest in something? Um,
Well, see,
that's
my understanding, and like I said, they may have changed this because I haven't had time to listen to the whole, you know, program, was that the information was not supposed to ever leave your phone.
oh.
Yeah. That used to be like the
Yeah, tongue in cheek on that one. Though.
that used to be the hook for Apple though, was like, hey, we're the most secure brand there is. Like,
Hmm.
and I mean, honestly, I'm knock on wood, I've never had many issues with like the systems crashing because of like some kind of security issues when it comes to Apple products, but they
Right.
for sure are selling that data. I mean, any way you cut it, like I'm pretty sure at this point they've developed a way for Wi-Fi to intercept brainwaves and see what you're thinking about, so that it pushes it through. Like,
I don't disagree. I the second part to this is they announced a significant overhaul to the infamous Siri.
Hmm.
They are jacking her in to artificial intelligence,
sweet.
including on-screen awareness, on-screen awareness, improved language comprehension, and full integration with GPT.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that you can already download something or set Siri up to be artificial intelligence. I listened to a podcast, and they actually had it set up to where when they used their Siri, it was AI they had set up.
Yeah,
And
well, GPT's been doing something similar. Like the company itself, you can download a GPT full blown like version of their artificial intelligence.
Hmm. Yeah. That is correct, Mike. I also heard that the AI is only on the newer phones.
well, I'm done. I've got an 11 finally.
Hey, I've got an 11 too.
Um,
I don't need a new phone every year, you know.
No,
So,
and I wanted to
no.
bring one more sort of data related thing in, and then we'll talk about something different. Um, so you know how they're planning on banning TikTok.
mhm.
You think
I've
about
heard something about it.
all the Chinese owned everything that's in all of our houses. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like all of our devices. Like your toaster's
Rock and
probably
roll.
listening to you.
The shirt I'm
Yeah.
wearing. You know.
So
It's probably
there
got a little
is
chip in it somewhere.
Uh-huh.
there is a another company being targeted in the same sort of role with the TikTok thing,
Yeah.
and it is the largest drone manufacturer that they're trying to ban out of the U.S. And it's the company's name is DJI Drones. It's the largest drone manufacturer, and they're advancing a bill right now that would make their aerial products inoperable. Um, and you know, 90, I would say 90% of the things in your house come from China. That's a conservative amount, probably. 90% of your electronics come from China. Like Cecil's refrigerator connects to Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
and
So does mine.
So
we got a new blender, and the blender was asking to connect to the Wi-Fi. So I'm like, I'm trying to think outside of the box on this sort of stuff because everything's listening already. I'm just like, why do you think the government is targeting these certain things? Like, what benefit do you think they would have of taking like the best drones on the planet out of the hands of the everyday person?
so they can replace them with their own, and they no longer have to pay for the data. They have the data that they can manipulate and sell.
Could be.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
if there even is a replacement. I mean, think of the implication. Like people can see things that they couldn't see before with drones. Like we see it all the time on like released video footage and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that they even want civilians having drones. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh no.
Well, I mean, don't you have to have like an FCC license or something
For
for certain ones?
yeah.
Yeah. Because I think the one that I got, no, I made a point of getting one that you didn't have to have that.
Yeah.
But I have a friend that takes aerial pictures with a drone, and he has to have one.
Yeah, I think it depends on the
That's
size.
so nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But
So that's coming along, and that's flying way under the radar too, because everybody's talking about TikTok, which is the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like they're just targeting convenient companies because if they, I don't know that we could handle a beef with China right now, honestly. From a military standpoint, of course, but like I said, everything in your house, everything in the stores, like all of your home goods, they're
Mm-hmm.
importing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And if they were to cut that off tomorrow, we don't have the infrastructure anymore to produce these things.
No.
So it would be an absolute calamity. Like
Yeah.
that's why the math just don't math. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I mean, it's like manufacturing is at an all time low in this country. Because like I said, for all the talk of the last several administrations about, oh, we're going to get all the jobs back here,
Right.
and I'm not being political. I mean, but the reality is we don't have a lot of manufacturing here
No,
like we used to.
We don't. And all it would take is like the rot pissing off,
Mm-hmm.
like for it all to get really bad really quick.
Yes,
Um,
agree.
so anyway, that's the last kind of data related thing I think that I had. There's Cecil's side shot for all of you out there wanting to see him from a different angle.
Uh,
Of course, because Cecil's so pretty.
I'm trying not to get upset.
What's the matter?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Everything is just crashing. It's very upsetting.
Sorry, it's a rough,
No, it's
cold
all right.
start.
Is Mercury in retrograde?
Yeah,
I can't
probably.
remember.
probably.
I mean,
But
what?
what we got next? Or was we still talking about that?
No,
I
do you
lost
wanna-
all audio for a little bit.
Do you want to give us an update on how it's going with Boeing?
How's it going with Boeing? I haven't even read this yet. So Boeing Starlink. So Boeing Starliner from last week is stuck on the space station as more leaks have been discovered. What? What kind of leaks are they talking about? This is real time. I've not read this yet. After years of delay and technical problems, Boeing Starliner finally made it to the International Space Station with NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams on board last week. But when exactly it'll be able to undock and deliver its crew of two back to the surface remains unseen. Didn't they kind of see this coming? I mean,
I did. So,
Yeah.
the team has discovered an astonishing 5 different helium leaks. Oh my God. So far, and each representing yet another thorn in the spacecraft's already cursed development. The gas is used in the spacecraft thruster systems to allow the thrusters to fire while navigating through space, according to Boeing. Sorry. NASA is giving Boeing another 4 days, extending Wilmore and Williams' mission on board ISS from June 14th to no earlier than June 18th. Today's the 14th, so we'll see. Though it's unclear whether the leaks are to blame for the delay, Boeing is still assessing what impacts, if any, 5 really small leaks in the service module helium manifolds would have on the remainder of the mission. So, the thrusters are not working, essentially, is what they're saying. They have a gas leak in all the thrusters that they use to line up and get straight to where they can come back through Mother Earth's womb to the surface. Oh my God. Why did they ever even think that it was a good idea for a spaceship created by Boeing right in the middle of like doors just flying off of airplanes?
They needed a win,
God.
dude. That's
Well, needed and getting a win are like worlds apart.
I'm glad I didn't read that one beforehand. That's very wow.
yeah.
You know, we
So
had
what?
this discussion before they ever launched. Is
Yeah.
who would get on a Boeing spaceship?
Yeah, that was the week that we thought we didn't have any news, and you found that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because they were delayed again because of, problems. So,
I mean, I can only imagine that. That's somebody that kicked back on the fence somewhere and drawed off the doobie, said, fuck it.
Yeah, their quality manager. Their quality manager is like, oh, good enough.
no, I think about do you remember in The Fifth Element when they're getting ready to take off to the other planet and the two guys underneath are putting in the things to get rid of the, like, parasites?
Oh,
He's so stoned he can't even see straight.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
I'm really scared for these people. Like, I wouldn't get on it. I'd be like, Elon, send us a spaceship or something, like, get us off this thing.
Right.
I don't know, man.
Wasn't it Bezos that never could get one up there because his shit kept breaking?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
His ship looked a little crazy, didn't it?
yes, it did. It looked very manly. Let's go with that.
I heard he modeled it after his own.
I'm just going to have to take his word for it. No proof is needed.
No, I'll take his word. But I don't know, man. That's crazy.
I could. We haven't dipped into one of these in a while. If you want me to get into true crime for a minute.
Oh yeah.
Let's get into some crew crime.
Crew crime, Chris. So there is a renewed FBI hunt into 500 serial killer truckers loose on America's roads. So
nice.
The FBI claims that they're attempting to track down. Now think about this. They're attempting to track down. They could literally listen through people's phones and cars and everything else. They're attempting to track down 500 serial killers who were truckers across various states. That's what they estimate. The law enforcement agency believes that more than 1,000 victims have been brutally murdered by serial killers who were actually long-haul truck drivers. Recent investigation into these killings have revealed some shocking news, which is bound to send the shivers down spines. Only 25 of these potential 500 serial killers have ever been arrested for any crimes.
I want to kick back on that. Oh,
Okay,
is it
ahead.
not over? Go ahead. Go for it. Keep going.
Okay. So this is just one horrific but defining example of what we're talking about here. It happened back in 2007. So imagine at a truck stop in Nashville, there was a long-haul driver by the name of Bruce Mendenhall. He was seated in his cab when a homicide detective approached him. The police were hunting a serial killer, and weeks earlier, the naked body of a 25-year-old woman, Samantha Winters, had been found in a dumpster. Winters was wrapped in plastic and duct tape and then terminated in the back of the head with a .22. Now, another victim at the point in time that he was being questioned, Sarah Nicole Hubert, also 25, had been dead. She too, been found dead, rather. She too was shrouded in plastic and terminated in the head. The detective from Nashville Metro Police Department asked him simply, "Are you the person that we've been looking for?" And the trucker shrugged and said, "If you say so." What police found inside his truck defied belief. Investigators called it a literal killing chamber. There was a stash of torture implements, including rifles, nightsticks, tape, handcuffs, latex gloves, um, uh, adult toys, bags of bloody clothing, and DNA on the clothing matched 5 murdered or missing women. Um, Also in the truck was his was one of the victim's mobile phone and bank card. Blood spatter in the cab suggested that he was terminating people in the truck. Yet he refused to say where all of the bodies were, and some of the bodies, weren't found until years and years later. But he was targeting not just sex workers, but it seems like sex workers were probably a primary target for him. And these deaths apparently are not isolated, which is what the investigation is focusing on.
So, yeah, I mean, pre 2012, I could totally see that happening. Now that like almost every truck is equipped with inside cameras, like everything's like monitored and tracked now. I
Well,
just don't think they can get away with it
only
now.
the big trucker or big trucking companies have driver facing cameras.
Oh,
Most of them have them just facing outward. Um, but the thing is, you can get stopped and, you know, totally, they can get into your truck, take you out, strip search you, everything else. How, and they go through these checkpoints in almost every state.
yeah,
I don't understand how more haven't been found,
yeah.
you know. And, okay, I'm married to a long haul truck driver. And he's going to
Well,
be the one that y'all hear saying, "No, yeah, I killed that son of a bitch because he pissed me off, damn it." And, his is going to be a rage thing. It's never going to be a serial, women. But like I said, I think that I agree with you, Cecil. It was a lot easier 10 years ago. But, it's still the possibility, but so many people go missing every year and nobody knows what happened, where, why, or anything that, until they find remains,
Right.
you know.
true.
We had I guess, since we're on the topic of FBI and how reliable they are, um, we did that whole episode a year ago when the Titan submersible, the
Hmm.
the sub with the PlayStation controller, was named
Yeah.
after the Titanic.
Yes.
So we did a whole series like detailing the weirdness around that. And there was an article that came out this week that says the frightening log that they had released back then, a year ago, detailing the submersible's fatal dive, has been declared a fake.
Wow.
And so, uh, if you go back and listen to our episode on it, this log detailed like this huge crisis these people were having and detailed their last moments. Well, the head of um, the investigative team in the U.S. federal government, the FBI, came out this week and said that the entire transcript is fiction. And after nearly a year of investigation, his group has found no signs that the 5 voyagers aboard the Titan had any warning of the catastrophic implosion. And he says he's 100% confident that it's false. So I guess my question is, how did it take a year for them to figure out it was fake? I'm sure it didn't take a year.
Hmm.
They reportedly found massive chunks of shredded body parts, which you could say is from an implosion. But, you know, there's a whole camp of people out there now, because they dropped this information, that don't believe it even actually happened.
Well, my thing is, okay, they supposedly found all these body parts. How far down were they?
far.
Right.
Like yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't see how that's at all possible.
So the conspiracy there is that they want to try to they did the whole motion there to keep people from being able to get to the Titanic wreckage.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, that's fully possible. Um, I heard that they're going to try it again, but this time they're using an Xbox controller, and I think they're because Xbox is a superior machine.
Xbox on top.
Yeah, I've heard that. You know,
Um,
we have we've got three different schools of thought in my house because we have a PS4, a PS5, and two Xboxes.
nice.
Yeah, I don't play any of these things. So
If they want, if they want to be real safe, they'll use the old school Nintendo controller.
that's
And
right. The NES, hell
yeah,
yeah. I could drive that. I couldn't drive the new ones.
I do want to say in the last couple of minutes while we're talking, if somebody on Rumble, I know we have, it looks like about 10 people on Rumble. Um, if somebody could just drop a test comment on there so that we can make sure comments are coming through from Rumble,
yeah,
we would appreciate it.
yeah. And
Uh,
you know,
our buddy is on Rumble.
Yeah,
yeah,
Steve,
I,
Steve
yeah,
drop a
he's
comment on
he
Rumble.
he did earlier. See?
Did he?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he did. Yeah.
there you go.
Ah, okay. Never mind,
Okay.
Rumble people. We're
But
good.
but but if you got any crazy stories or anything, I'm actually going to go ahead and open up the email address that you can go ahead and send us. Or if you got any like personal stories you want us to tell, like we'll even cover like just some crazy
Yeah,
old
if you have
stupid tales or something.
yeah, if you have personal stories about any of the weirdness, you can email them. And Cecil,
Yep,
if you want to
yep.
give the box.
It's WITF at gmx.com. WITF at gmx.com. I don't know what that is. Totally set it up. So we'll
Yeah,
go.
it's just an email box.
Yeah, it's just
You
email
can
box.
email it like any other email. If you want to tell us a story or if you see an article through the week that you're like, oh, that would be really cool, just
And
email it.
we'll let you pick who reads it too. If you want it to be read properly, put Tolly. If you want it to be read improperly, put Cecil.
Or pretty. Morgana's the best speaker out of all of us. So I don't.
If you
But
want to be pronounced correctly.
Come on now, when you do it incorrectly, that means you learned it by reading it, and there's never going to be anything wrong with that.
I feel like I'm in grade school and I'm going the drink.
Also, if you're out there and you want to follow us, we do this every week. And on Saturdays, we're going to be doing, not every Saturday, but as it pops up, we're going to be doing Where in the Folk sessions again, which we used to not have live audiences for, but it's going well so far. And next Saturday, the 22nd, we are going to be doing a session on weather modification. It's going to be the 100th episode. We're going to have tons of guests coming in and out. It's going to be a fun time.
And we're going to shout out my baby brother's birthday that night, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The reason that we didn't used to go live is because my intrusive thoughts used to just spill over and I had to edit them out. And now I can like pull back like 85%. I train myself like a dog at cage train.
Let's see what else. We have Weird Awakenings coming up in 15 minutes. If you don't follow the Weird Network, it's Weird with a Y. We will be on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, talking about, what are we talking about tonight?
Deep space, outer space.
Outer
Is
space.
it real? Is it not?
And surprisingly, that's not a mindless comment. But yeah, join us in 15 minutes. We're going to be there. It's going to be fun. And that's all I can think of.
Yep. Follow us on everything. And thank you all for watching us. Because we are watching you.